Do you know the real story behind Teletubbies? The real story of Teletubbies is taken from a mental hospital in Bulgaria for a group of children. Lala has a distorted face that makes her smile all the time, and she always sat in her room alone in the hospital, so she used to dance alone without music, so her skin turned yellow because she wasn't exposed to the sun. Tinky Winky was 7 years old, and he hit himself on the wall until his head cracked, so they had to tie him up with a rope so he wouldn't move. And because of the rope and restrictions that were on his limbs turned all blue. Boo was with them in the hospital, and when the fire happened, they forgot about her, and they didn't save her until her skin turned red. And for Tinky, he was always hungry and sad because he was depressed, and when they gave him food, he would throw it away and never eat it again. And this is their story in short. So Teletubbies is a mental hospital, but there is only one question left.
Don't ever try this curse on anyone. To do this curse, you first need to draw a human shape on a piece of paper. A stickman will do fine. You then have to say the name of the person you want to curse 6 times while holding your hand on the paper. The curse is now active. Grab a pen and stab the stickman in the body part that you want the cursed person to feel pain in. The more you stab this part, the more affected the cursed person will become. But be warned, if anyone catches you doing this, the curse will turn around to haunt you and you will feel incredible pain in parts of your body that you stabbed the stickman in. Are you brave enough to try this? Like this video and follow my account for more scary curses.
It's believed that this woman was collecting her blood for a voodoo ritual. If people collect your blood, they can use it to possess you or make voodoo dolls of you that will hurt you. So stay safe out there. That's very scary.
Do you notice something kind of off about this mannequin? For anyone who's familiar with the legend, she is known as La Pascualita. The mannequin has stood in the window of a Mexican bridal shop for more than 90 years, but when she was first placed there, patrons noticed something kind of strange. The detail work on this mannequin was unusual. She was noted with eyebrow hair, veins, and even discoloration around her mouth and ears. But that suspicion soon grew to horror as patrons started to notice that she bore a striking resemblance to the owner's deceased daughter, Pascuala. Pascuala was actually set to be married herself, but ended up dying in a tragedy before her wedding day. Shortly after her death, the mannequin appeared in the window and the legend was born that these were the preserved remains of the owner's daughter. But the most compelling evidence has always been the hands. The hands are shown with wrinkles, they have veins, they even have lifelike fingernails, which is unlike any mannequin I have ever seen. The question remains to this day, could this really be the shop owner's daughter?
Do you know the truth behind Teletubbies? The real story of Teletubbies is taken from a mental hospital in Bulgaria for a group of children. Lala has a distorted face that makes her smile all the time. She always sat in her room alone in the hospital, so her skin turned yellow because she wasn't exposed to the sun. Tinky Winky was 7 years old, and he hit himself on the wall until his head cracked, so they tied him up with a rope so he wouldn't move. Because of the rope and restrictions on his limbs turned blue. Boo was with them in the hospital, and when the fire happened, they forgot all about her. I think you know why she is red. And for Tinky, he was always hungry and sad because he was depressed. When they gave him food, he would just throw it away. Nipsey represented a deaf child who was allegedly tied to a fence outside and suffered frostbite. The characters of the Teletubbies are based off of real children who endured horrific experiences. Why would they base a children's show off of real-world horrific stories from a mental hospital?
This is the true story of the nun. The Vatican has preserved the head of a possessed nun for more than 300 years. In 1742, a nun named Josephine Rosenthal appeared pregnant. Josephine swore that she had not had any relations with a man. Consequently, tests were conducted that revealed she was still a virgin and that it was a divine case. Josephine lost her life when she gave birth to a girl named Maria Rosenthal. Maria was mocked by the nuns and priests because she was a hermaphrodite, which means she had 2 genders at the same time, and people saw her as a demonic being due to this condition. In consideration of this, the church leaders devised a plan to take Maria's life at the same age as Jesus, at 33, to make her death appear divine. This plan reached Maria's ears, so she decided to take her own life. After that, the priest ordered her head to be removed and embalmed in a box with a cross. After her death, paranormal occurrences began in the monastery, and to this day it is said that it could be Maria's spirit.
If you see this man, you need to run and never look back. In the eerie town of Blue Moon Bay, Massachusetts, there resided a motel owner named Cletus Sanders. His motel, once bustling with life, now stood in desolation, haunted by rumors and Cletus's own unsettling presence. Guests who dared to check in never checked out, vanishing without a trace. Some claim to have seen eyes peering through secret holes in their rooms. Cletus, once known as a kind-hearted man, underwent a drastic transformation after acquiring the motel. His appearance mirrored the darkness that consumed him. Only the desperate sought refuge within its walls, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. One fateful night, a weary traveler took shelter in one of the motel's rooms. As he lay in bed, a noise from beneath jolted him awake. Curiosity led him to peer under the bed, only to be met with Cletus's sinister grin staring back at him. Panic engulfed the visitor as he fled, with Cletus giving chase down the dimly lit corridor. Sadly, the guest became another unfortunate victim.
I think she's lagging in real life. What is happening? What? What?
Somebody just took my hair. I'm not joking, somebody just took my hair. What do you mean somebody fucking took my hair? I don't know. Somebody fucking did. I mean, let me out! I'm going.
Do you want me to wake him up?
No, don't ever.
Image 3. This was after we told the doc and nurses about what we saw and they moved us immediately. They said it was not the first time.
I've always thought that my daughter was my grandmother reincarnated. I gave her a picture of her today, and you guys tell me what you think. This is the first time showing Arrow this picture. I want to see how she reacts. Who is that? She's touching her own face. What the fuck? Is that you? Arrow, who is that? Why were you just touching your own face? Is that yours?
Should I put this away?
Who is that, Arrow?
How?
Just when I thought I heard about all the worst cults in history, this one had to come and blow them out of the water. This is Colonia Dignidad. They were a German torture cult hiding out in the Chilean wilderness after World War II, aka Yahtzees. And to show you how terrible they were, let me tell you a story. As a quick reminder, if you want more info, you can check out the podcast. The leader of this cult was a known child abuser, and he wanted more Chilean boys to be brought to him. So he started a hospital in the community and used it as a trafficking system to get more children. One day, a young Chilean boy choked and was rushed to the hospital. And right when he got there, a nurse scooped him up, brought him to a room, and saved his life. But later that day, his sister arrived and asked a nurse when she could pick him up to take him home. And the nurse responded that they needed to monitor him for a few more days, which is pretty suspect in a choking case. So a few days later, she comes back and she's like, okay, can I get my brother? And the nurse tells her that he's not there anymore. And this is because the hospital had lawyers on staff that were drafting up adoption paperwork when young boys would come in. The cult was able to legally adopt boys in the community without the parents' consent, and the parents had not enough money to do anything about it. There are so many more stories about this place, and I had never heard of it before, so make sure you check out this week's episode for more info.
Have you heard that? A guy just captured La Llorona on camera in New Mexico.
What?
So listen, just 2 days ago, this guy named William Johnson made a terrifying discovery upon returning home. So while driving, he noticed a big thunderstorm forming. It was nearing midnight, and he was still an hour from home when his car just lost power and turned off. Frustrated, William got out the car to notice his drive belt had ripped. And stuck without cell service and with the storm rolling in, he decided to hoof it home and deal with the car in the morning. But before telling you the rest, remember, I can only protect my followers who have commented their name and added the video to their favorites. As William walked through the side of the dirt road, he heard whispers of a woman. He looked back, but no human soul was near. Then deep in the forest, heard a woman cry out. William, out of panic, took out his phone to call for help, but still had no service. So instead, he decided to record, and right after he looked up, bam, he saw her. A figure in a white wedding dress floating off the ground deep in the trees. So he quickly ran without looking back to a random person house. In shocked, he told them about what had occurred. Unfortunately, they just assumed he was drunk. Just yesterday, William decided to release the footage. To see it, click here on more, then photo.
Can you tell me what this man found in his backyard?
Found this crispy thing in the yard. Is that a squirrel?
A man heard screaming coming from a public bathroom and decided to go check it out.
Yo, what the? What the? Bro. There's nobody in here.
Supposedly you can see if your phone is being spied on. Just click here, click more. And if you see this, delete it immediately. A man was exploring his Airbnb when he found this.
Yo, I just came from my Airbnb, went to the basement, and look at this shit. Y'all don't do the Airbnb. Oh my God.
Now let's see who actually made it through the whole video. You can only pick one answer. A, B, C, or D. Let me know down below.
Although the sudden appearance of this girl is startling on its own, it's what happens earlier that's by far the most baffling. Immediately after arriving to the second floor, its door, for some reason, begins to open and close while staying on the same floor. But even stranger is that a faint voice is heard inside the elevator.
Get ready? Okay.
Mais um vídeo de pessoas jogando luzes apagadas, luzes acesas. Eu já trouxe alguns vídeos mostrando pra vocês que não é uma boa ideia jogar esse jogo assustador. Salve, meus nobres do terror. Aqui eu conto histórias do da ficção e o sobrenatural, mas às vezes podem ser reais. Nesse vídeo aqui, essa mãe resolveu jogar esse jogo bizarro com sua filha, e ela resolveu gravar pra poder postar o vídeo depois. Pra quem nunca ouviu falar nesse jogo, uma pessoa fica na tomada apagando e acendendo as luzes. Quando ela apaga, a outra pessoa pode se movimentar o quanto ela quiser, mas quando ela acende, ela tem que estar parada, como se fosse uma pedra. E a outra pessoa tem apenas 5 movimentos para poder chegar na pessoa que está na tomada. Mas quando a mãe apagou a luz pela 5ª vez, algo assustador aconteceu. Olha isso.
Turn off the lights, and you're gonna see how fast you can get to me. But the moment the lights come back on, you have to stop, okay? You have to pause. Can you do that? Okay. Okay, ready? Okay. Okay, one more time, okay? You ready?
Haunting true story of Xiaoyun, restless spirit. In a small Chinese village, a girl named Xiaoyun drowned mysteriously in the river. Her death shocked the village, but the real horror began afterward. Soon after her funeral, villagers reported hearing eerie cries and seeing Xiaoyun's ghost near the river at night. She appeared soaked, her hair dripping with water, eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. One night, a villager named Ming was walking home late when he heard soft crying. As he approached the river, he saw Xiaoyun's ghost standing on the water's edge, her pale face staring straight at him. Terrified, Ming froze as the ghostly figure pointed at him and whispered, "Help me." Ming ran back to the village, trembling with fear. The next day, the villagers found wet footprints leading from the river to Ming's house. They decided to hold a ritual to appease Xiaoyun's spirit, offering prayers and food by the river. Even after the ritual, Xiaoyun's ghost was occasionally seen, her mournful presence a chilling reminder of the tragedy. Villagers still avoid the river at night, fearing her restless spirit might return, forever haunting the place where she met her untimely end.
If you guys haven't watched this movie, you guys are missing out. Watch.
6 feet. Hold on tight.
Okay.
Twenty-one. Are you at the corner?
Yeah?
You sure?
Yeah?
You can let go.
What does it say?
Says this room is 5 feet longer on the inside than it is on the outside.
Wait, how does that work?
It doesn't.
I'm cold.
Get your coat on.
Watch what's going to happen, guys.
Ella? 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 So not in the mood for hide and seek. Ella!
You guys, it gets better and better. Don't miss out.
What the fuck? Too scared to open my door.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, come here. Come here. What I told you. Come here.
The reason I had to move out of my flat. I was home alone.
Then what's your name then?
True scary story. House of Weeping Widow, China. In a small village in China, there was an old house at the edge of the forest that no one dared to enter. The villagers called it the House of the Weeping Widow. Many years ago, a young couple lived in the house. They were deeply in love and expecting their first child. One night, the husband went into the forest to gather firewood, but never returned. Days turned into weeks, and the wife, consumed by grief and worry, began to lose hope. One stormy night, there was a knock on the door. The wife opened it, hoping to see her husband, but instead found a mysterious, cloaked figure. The figure spoke in a whisper, telling her that her husband had perished and that his spirit was trapped in the forest. Desperate to see him one last time, she followed the figure into the woods. Days later, villagers found her wandering near the edge of the forest, disoriented and weeping uncontrollably. She spoke of seeing her husband's ghost and hearing his voice calling to her, but no one believed her. She returned to the house and was never seen again. From that night on, strange things began happening. Villagers would hear the sound of a woman weeping late at night, coming from the house. Some claimed to see a ghostly figure of a woman in white standing at the window, her face pale and sorrowful.
Había una vez una joven llamada Ana, quien había conquistado el corazón de Carlos, un humilde minero. Pero su amor era prohibido. El padre de Ana no aprobaba a Carlos y tenía otros planes. Quería que se casara con un noble anciano, solo por su fortuna. Decidido a separarlos, el padre de Ana la encerró. Pero Ana no estaba sola. Tenía una fiel dama de compañía con quien trazó un plan. La dama llevaría en secreto mensajes a Carlos, contándole todo lo que su padre había planeado. En su profundo amor por Ana, Carlos compró una casa justo frente a la de ella, con la esperanza de que, de balcón a balcón, aún pudiera estar cerca de su amada. En secreto se encontraban, intercambiando miradas y promesas bajo el manto de la noche. Sin embargo, el padre de Ana no podía soportar la desobediencia. Un fatídico día, en un arrebato de ira, hizo lo impensable. Con su propia mano, atravesó el pecho de su hija con una daga. Desde el balcón de enfrente, Carlos miró con horror. Desesperado, estiró su brazo, sujetando la mano fría y delicada de su amada. En sus últimos momentos, Carlos la besó una última vez, sellando su amor por la eternidad. La leyenda dice que las parejas que visitan el callejón donde esta trágica historia ocurrió, conocido hoy como el Callejón del Beso, deben besarse en el tercer escalón. Si lo hacen, serán bendecidos con 15 años de buena fortuna. Pero si pasan sin besarse, enfrentarán 7 años de mala suerte.
Yo, whoa, where you go? Whoa, run, 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 run! Go, 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 go! What the hell? Inside, inside, inside. Close it.
I did.
Oh, shit.
Oh my gosh. He's going to the basement.
You gotta lock it. You gotta lock it now. Come on. Up. Oh, shit! Here we go.
We're frozen here. Because that doesn't sound like coyotes. They got something. Are they getting closer, Joy? No?
biker just went that way, and the sound got worse.
How does it feel being back?
Good. I had such good memories here. Maybe my happy place can be our happy place.
Nobody talking about this movie.
alone down here.
It was just my imagination.
I'm playing a new game with Chauncey. The scavenger hunt list. That's fun.
Chauncey says you're not allowed to play with us.
Oh.
Because you left him. I need something happy.
This was
Something
such
happy.
a good movie.
Ugh. That bugs freaked you out.
If I can finish my list, Chauncey will take me on a trip to the place he's from.
Called Imaginary.
Something that hurts.
Creepy movie.
You've been spending time with a new friend? He asked you to do something that hurt you.
That was part of the game.
The makers of
Does
Five
that
Nights at
seem
Freddy's.
like a game a good friend would want to play?
Maybe we shouldn't play together anymore, Chauncey. Maybe we shouldn't be friends. No, 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 no.
She's lost, but we're gonna find her.
Every culture has entities that tether to the young. We call them imaginary friends. You are always
You guys
staying
have
with
got
your
to check this
imaginary
one out.
friend. When the connection is severed, the entity becomes enraged.
He says he's right behind you.
This is a true horrifying story, part 32. In parts 25, 26, and 27, I warned you all about the most dangerous book that was ever written, Shams al-Ma'arif. This book is a portal to the world of jinns and demons. There's a person that read this book, and this person faces traumatic incidents every single day. She's a woman from Jordan. She graduated university being the top graded student. She is a genius. She has read hundreds of novels. She had a strong passion for books. She heard about this book called Shams al-Ma'arif. She couldn't live knowing that there's a book that has a strong story behind it without reading it. After many months of trying to find the real copy of this book, she heard about an old man that lives in Jordan that had an ancient copy of Shams al-Ma'arif. She got in touch with him and he refused to sell the book, but she didn't quit. It took her many weeks to finally buy the book off of him. She goes back home and immediately starts reading the book. After she read the first few chapters of the book, she felt kinda hungry, so she decided to go to the kitchen and prepare some food and then continue reading. As she goes into the kitchen, she opens the oven and a gale of fire burns her face. She spent 3 weeks in the burn unit rehabilitation. The oven was switched off. No one knows till this day where the flames came from. She had multiple plastic surgeries to recover her facial features, but till this day, her face is not what it used to be. After recovery, she goes home weeks later and she looks for the book, knowing that the jinn was the reason she was harmed. She tried to find the book for many days, but it was lost. Years go by. She was home watching TV one day. She came across an Islamic channel that had a live interview program. An old man was being interviewed on this channel. He was asked by the imams about the dangers of a black magic book that he owns. His body was very unusual and his face was burned off. He got a book from under the table and he said this: I once sold this book to a young woman a long time ago, and the demons warned me not to stop my rituals, and if I gave the book away, they would burn my face and they would burn hers. And after I gave the book, I woke up the next day without my normal face. And the book I sold to that woman was right there laying next to me on bed. I knew that it was the jinns that brought the book back to me. And this is when I strengthened my iman and I quit black magic. Quote, this was all said on TV, and the poor girl was just standing there, watching the same man speak. The man on TV was the man that gave her the book. The book he showed on TV was the book he handed to her. That was the book that was lost. The book that she was looking for.
I'm so fucking scared right now. It's currently 1 in the morning and my boyfriend is at work. It's just me and my son. And hold on. I just heard keys. I just heard keys open my door. So I'm thinking he might come home early. He don't supposed to get off till the morning. So I hear movement, I hear jiggling, I hear keys, and I hear movement in the living room. Now my son's room is across from our room, and we have motion lights in there for him, so when he wake up at night, in case he crawl out the bed. I'm about to show y'all. Completely dark. You have to step in his room to activate the motion light, right? There's 2 of them. Which, if I cut off my bathroom light, I can see that light on from my room, right? Ooh, y'all. So, I'm thinking he went in there to check on the baby because he do that. He always come in the house no matter what time it is and he check on him first. So, hold on, my baby. After a good maybe like 5 minutes, I don't hear him moving no more. So I'm like, damn, is he gonna come in the room? Like, you know, like me and the baby in the room. I know he didn't see the baby was in his bed because I got him out and I put him in the bed with me because sometimes I don't like sleeping by myself. This apartment is kind of weird. We just moved here a few months ago and it's just always been like little shit. Like, that's another story though. But so I fucking get up. I get up and I go out here. And ain't nobody here, y'all. There's nobody here. There's nobody here. I turned all the lights. I'm walking around the house. There's nobody fucking here. How can motion lights come on without motion? I heard keys. I heard movement in my living room. Yeah, I'm not crazy. Like, I heard that shit. Clear as day. Clear as fucking day. Not a dream. And there's nobody fucking here but me and my son. Oh my God.
Don't talk about the skinwalkers. I have a story. It isn't mine, but it happened to my uncle. He used to tell this story when we went camping, and it scared the lights out of me every time I heard it. We live in Utah, and my uncle Mark went on a mission at 19. They sent him to an Indian reservation in Arizona. They paired him up with a companion named Carl. When they first got there was a huge rift with the locals on the reservation, with them being there. They didn't want my uncle and Carl staying on the reservation grounds. Eventually, they came to a compromise that they would stay on the outskirts in a trailer. This reservation wasn't very big and was located next to a heavily wooded area. The first night, they were trying to sleep when all of a sudden their trailer started to shake violently back and forth. Startled and not sure what was happening, they climbed under their table for cover. Mark could distinctively hear someone pushing it from both sides of the trailer, like a group of people. After about 5 minutes, it stopped. That next day, they made rounds on the reservation and were talking to the locals. Carl made a comment to one of the families that their trailer was shaking that night before. The family got very quiet and then told them they had to leave. They thought it was strange, but didn't think much of it. The next night, it happened again. They awoke to their trailer shaking back and forth. Again, they climbed under the table until it stopped. This went on for 2 more nights. Anytime they tried to talk to anyone about it, they got quiet and told them to leave. Mark started thinking that, due to the tension of their arrival, the locals were doing this to scare them off the reservation. They then go into a convenience store, and they were talking together about how frustrated they were with the situation. The clerk overheard and said, "They can't talk about it. It's forbidden." Confused, they ask him, "Can't talk about what?" The guy continues to tell them about the skinwalkers. He says they are evil demons that were once Native American witches. If they talk about it, the skinwalkers will come for their souls. They just walked out of there baffled. They thought it was another scare tactic. So that night, when the shaking started again, my uncle decided to be brave and confront them. He went to the trailer door, flew it open, and yelled, "Hey!" When he did that, he saw these 3 animals run off. 2 were a wolf, 1 was a bear, but they looked strange, almost with human features. As he watched them run towards the trees, all 3 stood up on 2 legs and walked slowly towards the trees, making a human cackling laugh. It scared him so bad that they called their mission president that next morning and asked to be moved. They were relocated that day. For a year, nothing happened. One day, they announced that Carl was being relocated to another city, and Mark was getting a new companion, Jimmy. They had to drive for about an hour to pick Jimmy up from the airport. The road they traveled went through the boundaries of the reservation. They arrived at about 8 p.m. and met Jimmy, and they go to leave. The mission president tells Jimmy, "We are driving through a dangerous area at night, so we can't make any stops. If you need to use the restroom, you need to go now." Jimmy says, "I am fine." The mission president gets serious enough to even freak out Mark. "I am not kidding, go do your business." Jimmy was insistent he was fine. So they hit the road. As they were about 30 minutes into the drive, they were going through the area of the reservation boundaries. Jimmy starts complaining that he needed to pee badly. The mission president says, "We can't stop here. You'll have to hold it." Jimmy keeps going on, "I really can't hold it." So the mission president stops the car and says, "Okay, but you will do your business next to the door, and if I say get into the car, you better get into the car fast." With a look of confusion, Jimmy says, "All right," opens the door and starts to do his business. About 5 seconds later, the mission president says nothing and just yanks Jimmy into the car and floors it. Jimmy and Mark start freaking out. "What is going on?" The mission president says nothing and just increases his speed. All of a sudden, Mark sees something next to the car to his right. A giant wolf-looking man was running on 2 feet next to the car. Mark looked at the speedometer. They were going over 60 miles an hour and still increasing. The wolf creature kept right next to the car for 10 minutes until it finally took off into the trees. Shaking, Jimmy gets out of the car when they arrive. They didn't speak through the whole ordeal, and says, "What did I just see?" The mission president says, "Next time I tell you to take care of your business, you take care of your business."